Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
For this is what the Sovereign Lord says.
Why do you need prophets to tell people who you are and what you want?
If you can justify everything that the God of the Bible has done, then you can justify any of your behavior.
A lot of this mentality is trickling into what is now mainstream right-wing Christianity.
I am capable of empathy greater than this God of the Bible.
This is a Bible that they tell kids. This is the good Lord. This is the good book. He is fantasizing about murder, mass murder.
Head over to sacrilegiousdiscourse.com right now to find out how to leave us a review or support us on Patreon.
Hey there, sinners and saints. It's your favorite Bible-bashing duo from Sacrilegious Discourse, and we need your help.
That's right, folks. We're raising funds for some heavenly equipment and a studio that doesn't sound like it's in the depths of hell.
Our current setup, let's just say it's more apocalypse than audiophile.
So if you want to hear us dissect the Bible without the background noise of demonic squirrels, chip in a few bucks.
We're aiming for $5,000 to upgrade our audio and build a studio worthy of blasphemous banter.
Donate today and help us spread the good word of atheism.
You can find a link right on our homepage, sacrilegiousdiscourse.com. Every dollar counts.
Even if it's from your collection plate. Husband!
Wife!
Do you know what we're doing today?
Well, not yesterday, recently,
last time.
We started Haggai.
We did.
And now we're in chapter, we're going to finish up Haggai?
Yes.
In chapter, what are we in? Two. Yeah.
Two.
Yeah, so it's just two books.
Mm-hmm.
Or two chapters. Sorry,
One
my
book,
bad.
two chapters.
Yeah. So yeah, we're doing that. Before we get into it, though, I do want to mention this. We have a Patreon shout out to do.
What?
Yeah. So we want to send a big shout out to Max, who is our newest member.
Max!
Yeah. So thank you so much, Max, for becoming a member. It means so much to us.
Thank you, Max.
Yeah. It's never too little to say thank you because we so very much appreciate it.
And I
don't even know what I just said. I've been rambling.
You were basically trying to say, like, it's never not a surprise. And
right, yes.
We're always just like, what? Another person is supporting us? What?
Yeah. No, it's fantastic.
Thank you so much, Max.
Right.
We really appreciate it.
And just to reiterate this to everybody, but we did recently stop doing ads on our podcast completely. Mm-hmm. So we're relying completely on your patronage. Mm-hmm. So any little bit helps. And if you aren't giving now, we would very much appreciate it if you were able to. So, And one more time, thank you, Max.
Thank you.
That being said, are you ready to get into
Haggai chapter 2? Yes, sure as fuck am.
All right, let's do this.
Okie dokie. All right, guess what? I forgot to ask you.
You forgot to ask me about what happened last time.
What happened last time, husband?
Well, we started Haggai.
We did.
Chapter 1.
And what was in that? What's it about?
God was a little pissy about people not building his house.
I know. He was like, how dare.
Yeah, so,
you have an air conditioner? I don't even have walls.
Right. And he threw a bit of a temper tantrum and made crops go bad and dried up.
No. Those things had already happened, and he was like, and that's why.
Right. Yeah. So they, but the Israelites this time, which is weird, they were like, yeah, we'll get right on it. I mean, because we fear you and you're God. So we're going to change our ways right now.
Right now.
And then that was good because
Yep.
they're going to go build it.
Yep.
So
if you build it, they will come.
He will come.
He will come.
Maybe. Well.
I love that we've been doing this long enough that finally you went, ugh, right when I did.
Because I already know your reaction.
Because I'm a child. All right. Well, are you ready to read chapter 2?
I am.
Okay. I'm going to do it now.
Let's do it.
Here I go.
Okay.
On the 21st day of the 7th month.
Okay.
The word of the Lord came through the prophet Haggai.
Okay.
Haggai.
All right.
Speak to Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah.
Okay.
to Joshua, son of Jozadak, the high priest, and to the remnant of the people. Ask them, who of you is left who saw this house in its former glory? How does it look to you now? Does it not seem to you like, nothing? But now be strong, Zerubbabel, declares the Lord. Be strong, Joshua, son of Jozadak, the high priest. Be strong, all you people of the land, declares the Lord, and work. For I am with
him.
you.
You may build my house, bitches.
Yeah, get busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. For I am with you, declares the Lord Almighty. This is what I covenanted with you when you came out of Egypt.
Oh, God, we're back to that already.
I know. Again,
always. Still. Yeah.
Like, remember? And they're like, fucking no. Yeah. No.
That was like 1,000 years ago, dude.
Like, I barely remember what this shit land looked like before the Babylonian exile, and that was only 70 years ago. And by only, I mean, holy shit, that was 70 years ago.
Right.
And you're asking me to remember hundreds and hundreds of years ago to a story that probably was made up and, parentheses, it was.
Yeah.
And, continues God, my spirit remains among you. Does it though?
Okay.
Do not fear. Okay. This is what the Almighty Lord says.
Unless, of course, you're fearing God.
Right.
You do have to fear God. Just don't fear otherwise.
Depends on the chapter.
Okay.
And depends on the book.
Right.
As we've covered, sometimes, of course, fear the Lord. And other times, no need to fear the Lord.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. This is what the Lord Almighty says.
Okay.
In a little while, I will once more shake the heavens and the earth, the sea and the dry land. I will shake all nations, and what is desired by all nations will come. Yeah, it will. And I will fill this house with glory. Oh, yeah. I'm going to fill it with glory up one wall and down the other.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to come all over this place. And I will fill this house with glory, says the Lord Almighty. The silver is mine, and the gold is mine, declares the Lord Almighty.
Well, that's shit.
This is mine, right, that's mine, those are mine.
But I'm reading that as it's the people in charges. Because it's not really God's, No. But it's convenient, right? Like, this is more of that grifty bullshit.
Yeah,
so.
These are mine, those are mine,
Yeah,
this is mine, fuck all of you.
Right.
Yeah. That girl is pretty, she's mine, because I need pretty girls. Is she a virgin? Oh, then I don't need her after all. Never mind. I do need that goat, and I will need that lamp. Okay?
Yeah.
Give me that. And, ketchup. Is ketchup invented? Oh, ketchup is not invented yet. Okay. As soon as you guys invent that, as God, I need ketchup.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
All right. The glory of this present house will be greater than the glory of the former house, says the Lord Almighty.
Okay.
And in this place I will grant peace, declares the Lord Almighty. Now I need to interject here.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no way physically that this house can be filled with greater glory than the former house.
Okay.
Because the former house was, built by Solomon. And remember? And it was beautiful and it was huge, right?
Yeah.
And remember from chapter 1, we've read that, this is not going to look like that. And the people are like, I don't even want to now.
But I mean, the glory is.
I'm going somewhere with this. But
okay.
Go ahead.
I mean, isn't it in the design? And then also, wouldn't the glory be more about the inhabitant than the actual premises?
Yes, but who is the inhabitant? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me interrupt you real quick.
Okay.
Christians take this specific line and say, Jesus, of course. That's why it will be more glorious than the original.
Okay.
Because Jesus is he also will come inside of this building.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. That's
gross?
No, it's
childish.
I mean, yes, but no, that's a stretch. That's a huge. There's no. If this is the word of God, wouldn't the word of God just say what's going to happen, like as a fucking prophecy?
I mean, that's how I would do it, but I'm just a mere worm, a fucking mountain. And I don't know how to write good words that, future people would be able to decipher.
Right.
And God is so much bigger, stronger, and smartier than I am.
You would think he'd be able to manage that.
I kind of got
Just
that backwards,
letting us know what's
didn't
going to
I?
happen. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. He should have spelled that shit out, shouldn't he have?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's saying, in this place I will grant peace. And this location that this second temple is being built, we're going to read in the New Testament whenever we get there eventually that there are some Jesus-y things that do occur there. So they're like, see? Prophecy fulfilled.
Right, but we also know through some of the studying that we've done that a lot of the things, they backfill a lot of shit. So,
like, I belong to this thing called a planner community, and we love getting out our planners and decorating it and writing in our plans for the week. And then come Sunday, we look back over the last week, and for those of us keeping our planners for future posterity, or to even help us remember if our brains don't work, which mine doesn't. So I have to look back and see, like, what did I do on that day?
Right.
That week, that month, that year. So we backfill the events that happened during the last week.
Sure.
And that is exactly what happened here.
Right.
Somebody sat down with their planner and was like, okay, let's make this happen.
Yeah.
How do we make that one come true? This is what we write.
Right.
So, and they didn't even need ChatGPT, imagine.
Right.
Okay. So, on the 24th day of the 9th month, in the second year of Darius, whether the first or the second, great or otherwise, the word of the Lord came to the prophet Haggai, or as I like to call him, Haggis. Mm-hmm. This is another prophecy.
Okay. All right.
So now we're on our third prophecy.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is what the Lord Almighty says.
Okay.
This is what he says.
All right.
Ask the priest what the law says. If someone carries consecrated meat in the fold of their garment, and that fold touches some bread or stew, some wine, olive oil, or other food, does that become consecrated? I know it sounds weird, but he's going somewhere with this. Okay. Right. The priest answered, much like your face is looking at me, no.
Right? Like what?
What a weird.
Who gives a shit anyway?
Then Haggai said, okay, just stay with me here.
Okay.
If a person defiled by contact with a dead body touches one of these things, does it become defiled? Yes, the priest answered.
Okay.
It becomes defiled. Okay. So sometimes when a thing touches another thing, it adopts the qualities of the original thing, but sometimes it doesn't. Okay.
All right.
You following?
I guess.
Okay.
Sure.
Stay with me, says Haggai. Follow.
I'm trying here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then Haggai said, so it is with this people and this nation in my sight, declares the Lord. Whatever they do and whatever they offer there is defiled. Now give careful thought to this from this day on. I'll explain in a minute.
Defiled?
Mm-hmm. Hold on.
All right.
Consider how things were before one stone was laid on another in the Lord's temple. When anyone came to a heap of 20 measures, there were only 10. When anyone went to a wine vat to draw 50 measures, there were only 20. I struck all the work of your hands with blight, mildew, and hail. Yet you did not return to me, declares the Lord. From this day on, from this 24th day of the 9th month, give careful thought to the day when the foundation of the Lord's temple was laid. Give careful thought. Is there yet any seed left in the barn? Until now, the vine and the fig tree, the pomegranate and the olive tree have not borne fruit. But from this day on, I will bless you. Okay, we're not done with this chapter, but I just want to interrupt because I have some notes because what we just read is very confusing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's read about that. Okay. So Haggai was questioning the priests, right, about the transmission of both holiness as well as impurity. And the priest answered correctly that, if you take a holy thing and it touches another holy thing, that doesn't necessarily mean that the second thing becomes holy, right?
Okay, sure.
But if you take a rotten thing and touch it to another thing, it probably will get infected, right?
Okay.
Like, it's like, just as a sick child cannot catch health from contacting a healthy child, while the healthy child can become sick from a sick child, right?
Right, sure.
So that's what he's saying. That's what that was about. Holiness is not contagious, but impurity is. Okay. So he's saying y'all need to get right because you're spreading your badness around. Okay. Now, since their exile to Babylon, the people of Israel focused on getting back to the promised land, right? They were like, we don't want to be exiled. We want to go back to our land. Let us go.
Yeah.
Okay. By itself, this was not a bad objective, right?
Sure.
Yet it led to the thinking that once they made it back to the promised land, everything else would be good and they wouldn't have to do anything else because they would just get there.
I mean, I gotta admit, like, if you spent 70 years trying to get back to your fucking homeland, once you get there, I feel like you'd just be like, thank God we're back.
Right, but that's the problem. They weren't thinking God that they were back. They were just back.
I didn't really mean thank God, but I mean just like it'd be like we're back.
Be like, yay,
this is great.
and then done.
Yeah,
right? Well,
sure.
That's Haggai is saying. Y'all made it back, and that's good. And now you need to keep being good.
Okay.
He's like, you need to build the fucking house, but don't just build it because God's telling you. Build it because it's the right thing to do and it's what you're supposed to do, and honor God and be thankful and be afraid and all that stuff.
Let's be honest that it's a priest, it's a prophet telling them, keep honoring God, keep doing these things, build this temple,
and give me your gold and silver and
sacrifices. That's where I'm getting to here. This is about money.
Of course.
This is about riches. This is about controlling people.
Of course.
More than anything.
I'm not trying to say that it's not.
Sure.
It's definitely a grift. I'm trying to say, but you need to understand what the grift is bedded in.
Sure.
Okay? Because we didn't understand his wording at all. We were like, what the fuck? Sick child and transmission of what now? Hold on. Bread and rotten? Hold on. What?
Yeah.
So his grift is, as you said, you need to get right with God. You need to honor God. You need to, purge your soul of evil because you're transmitting your impurities all around everything.
Sure.
And the reason personally, secretively, that I would like you to do this is because I'm a fucking grifter and I want all of the shit that comes with being a prophet and the people being loyal to God enthusiastically.
Right.
So now we're both on the same page.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
All right. So it was that thinking that once they made it back to the promised land, that everything else would be good. And Haggai reminded them that their presence in the promised land didn't make everything they did holy. Because they were also they had become very complacent. Like they were like, oh, God blessed us. So now we don't have to try anymore.
Sure.
And so he's just further saying, I still want the grift to continue, please. So, don't get complacent.
Yeah.
Okay. Do the work.
Yep.
That's what he's saying.
Okay.
So does that make a little bit better sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that helps.
Okay. All right. Continuing on. The word of the Lord came to Haggai a second time on the 24th day. So now we're into the fourth prophecy. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. On the 24th day of the month, it came a second time. Tell Zerubbabel, governor of Judah, that I'm going to shake the heavens and the earth. I will overturn royal thrones and shatter the power of the foreign kingdoms. I will overthrow chariots and their drivers. Horses and their riders will fall, each by the sword of his brother. On that day, declares the Lord Almighty, I will take you, my servant Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, declares the Lord, and I will make you like my signet ring, for I have chosen you, declares the Lord Almighty. The end. Okay. What the fuck is that, right?
Yeah, before you get into what it is, though, I have to mention this because in the first chapter of Haggai, they all feared the Lord and they were going to get started on this shit. And now we're hearing about how he's going to, you better do this or else type stuff. And I'm like,
that's not what he's saying.
No?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm going to shake the earth. not
Okay.
just y'all. Okay.
Got it.
He's saying Christians would have you believe that this is him saying, I'm going to shake the world, but don't worry about it because I'm making Zerubbabel the eventual leader and his progeny, which eventually will go down through Joseph, who will father Jesus on my behalf.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
So that's what he's saying.
Got it.
Okay.
So is Zerubbabel like the descendant of David then?
Yeah, but not.
Is he though?
No, he is, but he isn't. Okay, here, let's read this. Okay. The concluding verses contain a prediction of some temporal revolutions then near, such as the commotions of Babylon in the reign of Darius, the Macedonian conquests in Persia, and the wars between the successors of Alexander the Great.
Yeah.
As well as the victories of the Romans who, in the time of Haggai and Zechariah, were on the very eve of their successful career.
Okay.
So all this stuff is happening as Haggai is delivering these words.
Yeah,
okay?
prophecies.
So later the same day, prophecies, sorry. Haggai delivers his other encouraging message, this time to Zerubbabel, the governor. Okay, now this is interesting. Zerubbabel was a descendant of David in the line of kings who reigned in Jerusalem, not directly, indirectly, but he was the last official sanctioned ruler.
Okay.
Okay. After, like, he was the last one. Okay.
Right.
And he was entitled, therefore, to the throne of Israel. But because Israel was still under Persian rule, he was only allowed to be the governor.
Okay.
Okay. It was easy for the returning exiles to feel insignificant in the world as if they were just pawns or spectators because there was so much happening at that time.
Right.
Kind of like how we kind of feel right now as American citizens watching all of the political machinations happening around us.
Yeah.
And we are mere pawns in this game.
Yeah.
God wanted them to know that they were small in the eyes of the superpowers of the world, but they were servants of God. Okay.
Right.
So they were small to the world, but big in God's eyes. Okay.
Yeah.
And that they were on the winning side.
Got it.
Okay. So these 2 chapters, this book was a very odd mixture of rebuke and encouragement. He's saying, like, if you're taking it from the God said this part, okay? Like, we understand it's just a political grift, right?
Yeah.
But from a religious perspective, this is God saying, okay, y'all have been complacent. You need to build my fucking house. Don't forget to be afraid and to always fear me and also to honor me and love me. But don't worry about it because even though you have suffered up until now and had droughts and all kinds of bullshittery happen to you, now I'm going to bless y'all.
Got it.
Okay. And I'm going to give, my signet, my ring to, Zerubbabel.
Okay.
And again, he's the last sanctioned ruler. Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's just everything's going to be so great now.
So God gave Zerubbabel a ring, huh?
Kind of. The signet ring was a token of royal authority, much like a throne, a crown, or a scepter, something like that.
Sure.
Like it's a sign of I am a king and you're not.
Right.
Okay. So recall that God placed a curse on the seed of Jeconiah, which we were just talking about. Okay. And that happened in Jeremiah chapter 22.
Okay.
Okay. So way back.
Yep.
That line was the royal line of David. So if the Messiah, whoever they're talking about, whoever that may be, we don't know yet because we're not in the New Testament and we're not Christian.
Right.
Okay. We're still like Jewish early days.
Yeah.
Okay. Some Messiah is coming at some point. Okay.
Yeah.
And so they're like, but how can that be? He has to be from the royal line of David, but that was cursed. So what's happening here?
Right.
He had to be of the legal line of David, yet not of his seed. How does that work?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I said Zerubbabel, but I meant Jeconiah was the last legitimate king of Judah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the royal house of David goes through him, okay? His only successor was Zedekiah, his uncle, who was appointed not by right, but by an occupying Babylonian ruler. That happened in 2 Kings.
Yeah, I remember that.
Even at the end of his life, the Babylonians recognized only Jeconiah as the legitimate king of Judah.
Okay.
Okay. So even the Babylonians were like, no, Jeconiah is the actual king.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, because Zerubbabel was a descendant of the last legitimate king of Judah, that's where I got that from.
Got it.
Okay. He could be legitimately recognized as the ruler, but not king of the returning exiles. So he was made a governor.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Zerubbabel did not live to see the fulfillment of Haggai's words. Like, he died.
Sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But the promise passed on to one of his descendants.
Okay.
The Christians say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah.
Right.
In whom the prophecy will find its fullest meaning. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how they get around that. Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a son of, like a straight through. It was like but his uncle.
It's just that all this kind of breaks down because Jesus didn't really rule anything. He was
right.
Just, I mean...
No, he's coming back.
No, I know. He's been coming back for thousands of years, but they actually say, we'll get into this when we get into the New Testament, but they actually say at some point, I think Jesus is the one that says it, that he'll come back in their lifetime.
Yeah.
And that's problematic because it didn't happen.
Oh, that's because
it still hasn't happened.
No, you're just misunderstanding. In their lifetime means in the lifetime of mankind, not those guys personally.
Yeah.
You just have to know how to read it correctly. You have to take it extremely word for word, except for sometimes not.
Yeah, and then you can have get creative as you want.
Yeah, you have to read it literally, except for when you don't read it literally.
Right.
And only a Christian can tell you which times those are. But not every Christian agrees. And so you have to ask the right Christian, and every Christian is the right Christian.
Yeah.
So
it's not confusing at all.
It's very confusing. all. Yes. I don't know who is the right Christian to ask.
I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, I don't either.
That's part of the problem.
None of them know the words, and none of them spoke to God, and none of them were alive when this shit was going down, and none of them are prophets, and none of them knows what the fuck because God ain't real.
Right.
Yeah. The end.
That's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That was the end of Haggai.
It sure was. Fuck Haggis.
Yeah. Well, so we got a little bit more, but not, the official chapters.
Right.
So we've got the wrap up coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got contradictions.
Mm-hmm. With you're always wrong because you are.
Right. And
wrong.
Then I will get the weekly replay out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll be back with another new book of the Bible.
I want to say it's Zechariah, but honestly, I forgot to look.
So there's some book of the Bible that we'll mention probably in one of the other two episodes.
And then I know Mike. Wait, not Micah. What's his name? It starts with an M. Hold on. It's like, what is his name? Okay, I can't remember it, but it starts with an M. So there's a Z and an M coming up at you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sure. We're looking forward to it.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
head over to patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe, leave an Apple review, join us on Twitter, support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.